How a Romance Novel Saved the Galaxy by Ariana Deralte. Chapter 25. Jocasta. Jocasta had the dubious honor of having been a member of every council in the temple, from the High Council to the Council of First Knowledge, the Council of Reconciliation, and the Council of Reassignment. This usually meant she got a lot of unwanted transcripts from each session, which she felt duty-bound to waste precious research time skimming. However, the transcript that came to her that day from the Council of Reassignment was of particular interest. She settled in to read it with a nice cup of tea in the oversized, unspillable mug her first Padawan had given her. First day of Salona 956 ARR. Present were the following council members: Jedi Masters Yaddle, Coleman Trebor, Tra-Sa, representing the Medicorps, Plet, representing the Agricorps, and Tal, representing the Explore Corps and Educorps. Also present were Jedi Master Yoda, Grand Master of the Order, and Jedi Master Waresha, Master of the Kresh. Yaddle. Begin the meeting now, we will. Much to discuss with our guests. We have. Waresha, thank you for addressing this matter so quickly. Coleman Trebor. We are here to discuss the issue of Initiate Obi-Wan Kenobi, whose assignment to the Agricorps we, the Council of Reassignment, were not aware of. Plet. I have looked over Obi-Wan's grades and aptitudes. There is nothing indicating he would be suited for the Agricorps. His scores in biology, botany, and chemistry are middling. Waresha. His education has been sabotaged. Tal. Sabotaged? Waresha. Another initiate, Brak Chun, whom I must also bring before the council on a separate day, destroyed or sabotaged his homework modules, essays, and work whenever possible. Tal. Why didn't the clan initiate master address this? Waresha. They were inexperienced and misled. Tra-Sa. Master Yoda, you are the Squall Clan leader along with El Mem. Did you not notice this bullying? Yoda. Thought it normal initiate rivalry, I did. Oversee course assignments, I do not. Coleman Trebor. And in lightsaber forms? Yoda. Aggressive, they both were. Fight defensively, Obi-Wan does, until Chun goads him to greater heights. Obi-Wan the more technically proficient. He is. Great duelist he will become. Tra-Sa. It sounds to me, Yoda, that you let this rivalry continue because you thought it made Obi-Wan a better fighter. Yoda. Good practice it was for Obi-Wan. Plet. You had already given up on Chun. Yoda. Much anger and fear I sense in Chun. Tal. Master Yoda, Chun is a human preteen. They're all either angry and afraid at that age, or too proud to admit it. Tra-Sa. We're getting sidetracked. Chun is a matter for another day. Plet. Good point, Master Sa. Master Yoda, why was Initiate Kenobi assigned to the Agricorps without consulting this council, and with only apparently middling scores in the appropriate disciplines? We have no idea if he's even capable of fulfilling his duties there. Yoda, capable of anything he puts his mind to, Obi-Wan is. This I have seen. Trip to Bandamir confirms. Tra-Sa. That doesn't answer our question. For centuries, I have heard you talk about upholding the traditions of the Jedi Order. One of those is that the Council of Reassignment deals with the initiates and their trials. Yoda. A great Jedi Obi-Wan will be. This the Force tells me. Kenobi and Jin, a great pair they make. Yaddle. See them in the Force as a great pair, did you? Yoda. Nearly 900 years of experience I have. Know when a student suits a teacher, I do. Tal. Maybe they were suited before Xanatos, but if this complaint from Holden Law is anything to go by, they aren't now. Qui-Gon is as stubborn as a bantha about not taking another Padawan, and treated Obi-Wan poorly as a result. Yoda. If not for the Mandalorians accepted him, Qui-Gon would have. Plet. So you had absolutely no intention of Initiate Kenobi actually joining the Agricorps. Tra-Sa. Your recommendation is also missing from the Initiate's file. If you had stated you thought he would be a great Jedi, he would have been snapped up by a master much sooner than this. Yoda. Needed tempering, Obi-Wan did. Tal. Not at the expense of his well-being. Apologies, Masters. I feel strongly about this. Waresha. I believe we all feel we have failed Cub Obi-Wan. I am recommending he be assessed in all his studies so we can place him better. But it doesn't sit well with me that we're essentially going to subject him to a series of exams on everything the moment he returns. Tra-Sa. If he returns. Just why does half the council think he was adopted? Yoda. Great changes happening with the Mandalorians there are, already adopted Padawan hero they have, Colman Trebor. How is that going to work? Yoda. No, not we do. Tao. There has been Mandalorian Jedi before. Yoda. Compiling all we know. Madame New is. Oh, yes, that reminded her she had a much more interesting column to read. Jocasta skimmed the rest of the transcript. There was little the council livery assignment could do until Obi-Wan returned. Her sources within the main council had already told her that it had been decided to ask the initiate to return when he could, even with his Mandalorian board. The council livery assignment would recommend the removal of Elmem and Yoda from Squall Squad leaderships. Of course, they had to get that past the main council. Elmem they would probably succeed on, but Yoda? She wished them luck. She also sent them copies of the Mandalorian's Dilemma to read, though Tal should already have one. That done, she pulled up the comm she had received from Mandalore Jaster Muriel. It was short and to the point about their collaborating on Tare Vizsla research, but attached was a much longer document. She opened it up to find an impeccably organized text arranged chronologically to document Tare Vizsla's life, with several paragraphs discussing the reliability of the Mandalorian sources and the issues regarding translation of ancient Mamboa. There were gaps in the document in several places, most often regarding his actions as a Jedi. Muriel had just written question marks across the entire section on the Darksaber, for example. There were also footnotes and an extensive bibliography. She smiled and went back to the top of the document, ready to read it in depth now. Hopefully she could meet the Mandalore at some point. She did lack a man who could research. Oh, sick! It was one thing to let the Jedi fight off his enemies. Red was supposed to be on patrol, and he didn't know these Mando are attacking the Jedi. But the Jedi hadn't had time to hide the ad this time. Her cries of terror tugged at his heart. One of the attacking warriors turned his blaster on the poorly concealed Atamanda. He'd been watching the fight in his scope like before. He took in a quick, steadying breath, then calmly pulled the trigger, hitting the attacker right in the back. There was armor back there, so all it did was make them stumble, but it was enough. Nared activated his jetpack. He'd take pot shots with his rifle while descending. These Darmanda were not going to hurt an ad on his watch.